Yeah. Hair flip, yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip, yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. Hair flipping on these hoes. Hi.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to your boy SeanDavieWay. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe on the way in. Tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today I bring you a video on Bishop Whitehead and Larry Reid. These two have been battling back and forth for a few weeks now, maybe over a month. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you don't know that Bishop Whitehead and Larry Reid have a lot of turmoil between each other. Tonight, Bishop Whitehead went live with one of the accusers of Larry Reid, and there was a lot said. Now, I'm not one to come for anybody's story because I just do not do that. I feel that victims are entitled to their story, whether some believe it or whether they don't. I don't feel that it is our job to decide that. That is between the victim and the person that it happened between. Only they know the truth. So you can't believe one without believing the other is kind of how I look at it. Meaning one person can't be telling the truth than the other, especially if there's no proof backing what the person is saying. Hearsay is just that. So if you're willing to hear the victim out, then you have to be willing to hear the accused. And if you're willing to hear the accused, you also have to hear the victim. Bishop Whitehead has stated that he is going to put the money for this victim to get legal justice, whatever justice he's planning on pursuing. I don't know if he's going to sue Larry Reid or if he's trying to get criminal charges against Larry Reid. I have no idea. But the bishop has offered to take the bill to pay for everything, legal, also therapy if the young man needs. So without holding you any further, let's get right into Larry Reid.
Okay, say it one more time, brother.
No, Larry Reid, he for sure molested me.
Wow.
And this didn't happen. I saw he was trying to say that, well, I'll get to that in a second. But when it was filed, so when I first spoke to the detective, they had to give, and he needed me to give a physical address at the time. That was the only address. I lived with him in a couple different locations. So he moved around quite a bit during that time, and I lived with him at several different locations, and that was the only address that I could remember. This was years later. That was the only address that I could remember, just off the top of my head, and that I knew that it happened at that address. So that's why that address is on the police report.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to the age thing, so. One of the other guys I talked to, it was a couple years ago, I did an interview with a guy, and me talking quick, I said 14. I met him early 2006. I can't remember the exact month, but it was like January, February, March, somewhere in there, right? And from there that's when I met him. But the actual inappropriate behavior started maybe a few months after that. To the actual age, I want to just make that clear. I was 15 when it happened. And he wants to push this narrative of me being 14 and all that. But like the reality is, this man did something inappropriate with a teenager, a child.
So do you want to get into what he did, brother, really quickly?
I mean, in a nutshell, man, he molested me. So the ground of it is he basically, he manipulated me, and I said this on the other interview, but he manipulated me because of the father void that I didn't have. I didn't have my dad at the time, and he knew I needed that void filled. And the entire relationship, he gave it a spiritual basis, and the entire time he was just preying on me because he felt like I could be easily manipulated, and so. That's what happened. He started out real casually, and you play one of the clips with the underwear thing, and it just progressed from there, man. And hold on, let me speak to this real quick, man. The second clip that you played is crazy. I've never heard that clip before. About the whole I've sucked dick before, like that. I've never heard that. That's crazy. And so I've never heard him say that before, like on a platform. So just so I'm clear, right? Me personally, I've never performed any sexual acts on this cat. None of that. That wasn't what happened. What I'm specifically talking about are things that he did to me and gave it a spiritual basis. Like the entire reason for the things that he did with me, it was he gave it a spiritual basis, saying it was his way of protecting me from being a version of myself that wasn't good. So he was like, he felt like I was going to be a womanizer, or either I was going to be a gay male, right? And he would always have me come to him anytime I felt the urge to have sex, basically. And he would say, well, I'm gonna help you through that process. And so he gave it a very spiritual context, right? And with me, because of the age that I was at, I wasn't able to fully understand what was happening. And now, my mind is more mature. I'm able to see it with 20/20 vision, man. He finessed me from the beginning. From the beginning, he was finessing me. And I'm just able to see that now, man. It's unfortunate, but I'm able to see it very clear now. And he just prayed on that whole not having my dad there, man. We would have very intimate conversations about that, and he knew how I felt about not having my dad in my life. And he just used that to his advantage, man. To his advantage. At the time, he wasn't married. I think they got divorced I think it was like the second time. They got divorced and remarried like 3 or 4 times. I think this was like the second divorce. And he would even, talk to me about that. It was like, it was developing like this like father-son relationship. And so I trusted him, and I just trusted him. And my naive nature at the time, and me just wanting that father figure and thinking that he could be that, it caused these things to happen, man. And unfortunately, this is what repeats itself over and over again in the church. Unfortunately, this is what it is with where we are now, man. So I just wanted to speak to that, the police report about the address. So with the address, the only reason that's the address on the report is because at the time when the first conversation I had with the detective, that was the only address that I could remember just off the top of my head. But just to be clear, that's not the only address that these things happened at. He lived at a house in Morrisville. Can't remember the name of the address. And like this happened more than one time. So this is interesting, man, that they'll try to take this one piece and like make that like a basis for why something isn't true, man. You just gotta use your mind a little bit, man. I also wanted to speak to. I saw recently he posted, I don't know if it was a statement that he made, and in the statement he said that he met me when I was grown. He said 3 guys, they were grown, and he said he met me when I was grown. I don't know why he's saying that, or why anybody around him is allowing him to say that, because I went to school. I was in high school when I lived with him. I drove his car to school. He's on my. If you pull up my high school records and see who was the people of contact on my contact list, his name was always there.
Wow.
So it's not possible for him to have met me when I was grown if he was on my high school information, like my contact information for high school. So I think he's just fishing, man. It's trying to just, because he knows what the truth is. He knows what the truth is. I can't say the people around him know what the truth is because they weren't physically there. But he knows what the truth is, man. And I don't know why I do know why. It's in that clip that you keep playing, that I understand, man, that's crazy. And this is, if you understand Reid, man, because I was around this cat every day for years. If you understand that, if you listen to Reid talk long enough, you're gonna tell him himself. And him saying that, whether anybody will acknowledge it or not, him saying that is his way. It's like an internal acknowledgement for himself. He won't ever say it out of his mouth because he has too much to lose now, right? He will never say out of his mouth. And it's also funny too, man. clip at the end of that clip, how he says, if it ever comes out, I'll lie about it. I'm not even gonna tell you no lie. Something that he used to say to me, and this is how after I started to unravel these thoughts, man, these feelings that I was having. One of the things that I realized or remembered about during those times is something that he would always say is, you can't never tell nobody. Or he would say stuff like, if you ever told somebody, who they gonna believe, me or you? Or he would say stuff like, if you ever tell somebody, I'm gonna deny it. I'm gonna deny it to the jail closes. I think that you say phrase it like that, and with the mature mind, I'm able to see that you're rationalizing to yourself that this is something that you should not be doing. Like, you're not supposed to be doing it, and so you're saying this as insurance. You know what I'm saying? And it's just interesting, man. Every time I hear that clip, it's very interesting to hear him say that, because he's holding to that, man. He told me that he would deny it until he couldn't anymore. And it's unfortunate, man, because him continuing to deny it, because of the space he's in, people are just gonna believe him, man. People are just gonna believe him, and it is what it is. Like he was even in that same statement, he was trying to suggest that, I have unresolved conflict, and I'm upset or angry because he dropped me or something. I'm like, bro, like, it's to hear him speak like that, man, it let me know how much of a narcissist he is, man. I don't need this cat in my life. Don't want him in my life. He's a clown to me, honestly. He's a clown. He's a clown. He's a clown that found some money. That's what it is. Like, he's a clown. Like, we would never be cool. Like, separate from any of this happening. Who I am right now and who he is as a person, like, he's a goofball. Like, we would never be in the same room. And so it's just interesting that he would try to create that narrative, because when we stopped talking, I was the one that made the separation. I deleted his number. I deleted him off Facebook. I deleted him on Instagram. I don't know nothing that's going on with this cat. It's only time I know something's going on with him is when these type of scenarios present themselves. Other than that, this cat is not on my radar. I'm not even thinking about it. But this, when these kind of scenarios happen, it happens. You know what I mean? But that's where I'm at, man. See, I'll make sure I ain't missing.
Well, let me ask you this, right, brother? Because like I said, there's a lot of people that did not hear, because you said about the underwear thing. I know I heard what you said about the underwear thing, but if you can, because I know you said, what your allegations are. But if you want to, I don't want to push you on, but if you can just let them know about the underwear piece that I know that was one thing that you had brought up.
Yeah. So, I'll speak to that real quick, man.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that was around during that time, they're familiar with this, man. That was like this culture. And it's something that I wasn't familiar with at all, man. Like, before I met these guys, I was in a very interesting space in life, man. I had just started to get into, the street stuff. Like, I was joining gangs and doing little weird stuff, right? And so when I met these guys, like, they had this thing where they wanted to try to change me. And so they did that, man. They literally, man, I'm talking about, threw away I had like 30, 40 pairs of sneakers, something like that. A bunch of shoes. They threw all of my sneakers away, threw all my clothes away. And took me shopping, right? Trying to, like, change my image. I need to be a cleaner version of myself. At the time, I was wearing these big clothes and, typical teenage stuff during that time. And, they, on this whole let me change your image thing, and something that they seem to be overly conscious about are nail prints, like, in your pants. And I'm not a print watcher. I wasn't then. I'm still not now. And it was just always weird to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like when you walking in your pants and your print is showing, like, that's inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? That's how they would describe it. And I'm like, well, it was just really weird during the time. And I'm not the only one. I know anybody that was in the church at the time, man, he's probably bought underwear for. Any male in the church, he was very intentional about buying underwear for men in the church because he could see their print, right? No, I ain't even gonna go on that tangent. But so anyway, he the first time that I was with him when it was just me and I, first time that ever happened, I was actually living around the corner from him, the Old Lusty 3216 Old Lusty. I was living around the corner from him at the time, and he came and picked me up on a Saturday morning. Took me to Walmart. It was Walmart, and bought me underwear. He wanted me to try the underwear on, and inside of the Walmart. So I tried them on one pair. It was one pair, and I tried one pair on, and he was like, "All right, well, they seem like they fit." So he said, "We'll take the other ones back to the house and we can try them on there." And I'm like, "All right, look, I'm still naive. It's weird to me, but because of who he is, and I feel like I can trust him. I'm like, all right, okay, cool." So went back to his house, man, and was in his room at the time. Was he divorced at the time? I can't remember if he was divorced at this point or not. I can't remember.
What age were you at this time when this happened?
I was 15.
15? All right.
I was 15. Yep, I was 15.
Oh,
and so he took me back to the crib, and he wanted me to try the underwear on, like in the room. So I'm like I said, I'm like, all right, I guess he was saying like he wanted to make sure that they fit and they were doing the job that they were supposed to be doing, I guess. I'm like, all right, so we went to the crib. I put the underwear on. He was like, all right, so that's how they're supposed to fit. And so I'm taking the underwear off, right? And I'm trying to like put my clothes back on without putting my pants on. And he was like, this is how, like, it's like, so he was trying to make it like an educational moment. He was like, so this is how, now as a man, this is how you're supposed to, your penis is supposed to hang. And he pulled his pants down. And when he pulled his pants down, it was he had these jeans on, blue jeans on. He pulled his pants down, and there was two things I noticed. He didn't have on underwear, and he had a erection. It was like not a full erection, but it was erect, right? And I looked up at him and immediately I'm like, what? Like, but I didn't have the nerve in me to be like, yo, I didn't have the nerve in me at the time to just confront it. But immediately I noticed, I'm like, why is this nigga? Like, what? Like, it was immediately weird to me. And so from that, what I now know is that he was testing the waters, man. This is a tactic. This is a tactic that predators do, man. They slowly see how much they can get away with. And that's how they're able to determine how much of a prey you are, how easy of a prey you are. They start slow, and then they progress from there. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it happened.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened.
Well, brother, I know you stated also, I don't know if you want to get into it, but I know you said that there's some other things that you never even said. So I don't know if you want to get into that, but I know you said there were some other things that you have that you didn't say to anybody. Do you want to get into that or?
No, we'll get into that later, man. It's a lot that I haven't said, man. A lot of it, when I was talking to my wife, man, a lot of this stuff, man, it's a blur. To be completely honest, man, like a lot of it is a blur. A lot of it I remember very vividly. And I think what's like, I know this now because of the counseling that I've done. Our minds, our brains have this. It's a way of self-protecting. When you've experienced something that was traumatic, our brains have a way of self-protecting, and that's what my brain has done over the years, man. Certain events, like anytime I talk about this, I start remembering more. Right, this is what was happening when I was having the conversations with Daryl a couple of years ago. As I was talking about it, things that I completely forgot about, I started to remember. And there's so many things, man, that I could go into that would you would be like, man, you ain't no way. Like, because at the end of the day, we're talking about somebody that's a pastor. and the things that I've seen, the things that I've experienced, like you wouldn't believe it, man. You would not believe it. So, yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that, man, because I really, honestly, not because I'm afraid to talk about it. I just want to make sure I have all of my thoughts together, because when you're recalling things from trauma, like it gets blurry. That's how when I first talked to Daryl and I said the 14 thing, that was a result of the trauma. Like I'm trying to recall everything that happened to me and process it. And I said that number, but it is what it is, man. I know what happened. He knows what happened, and that's what that is. So.
Yeah, brother. Well, listen, man. I support you, and I'm telling you publicly that I'm going to have you connect with an attorney, right, to protect you and your family and to move forward with whatever legal proceedings that you need to do, and I'm paying for it. That's what I can do. And if you need any help with any therapy or whatever, I have someone that I use that, for my church, my ministry, and that's someone that I trust. And if you need that, I'll take care of the bill for that as well. And I don't want to get into the open investigation in North Carolina, but I just want to ask one question. That case is still open, correct?
Oh, it's for sure still open, man.
All right. Yep. You can leave it right there. I just want to make sure, because people were saying that case was closed and this, that, and the third. So yes, that case is still open. It's a still open child molestation case. And this young man stated that it's against Larry Reid. So these are the allegations. Brother, I want you to know that I'm proud of your strength, and people really need to hear your story. Whatever I can do, I'm here. However, one thing that I'm going to do is connect you with an attorney. You don't have to worry about no fees. I'm going to pay it. If you need therapy, more therapy, because, brother, I'm already knowing that it's rough. Dealing with trauma is rough. I've never been molested in my life. However, I've been traumatized in my life with just different things throughout my life. So I understand what trauma is. So that's what I'm going to do for you. So any therapy, it'll be on me and your attorney to deal with your legal stuff. I will pay for it. And people was asking me, did I pay you to come up here? Brother, did I pay you to come up here?
Never. Definitely didn't pay.
All right. So I want to just get that out of in the way and out of the way really quickly. So listen, you guys.
Let me speak to that real quick, man.
Mm-hmm. All right, good.
Like, people are so weird, man. People are so weird, bro. Like, why would your first thought after everything I just said, right? Why would your first thought be if he paid you? Like, why not prior to considering that? Why not consider, is what this guy's saying actually true? And let me just go on record to say, if I'm lying about this, I deserve, and I said this before, if this is something that I'm blatantly lying about, I deserve everything that comes with that. Because if I'm lying, I'm intentionally trying to destroy this man that has done nothing to me. Wow. I'm not lying about this. And anybody that knows me personally, they know. So I'm pretty sure I'm talking to somebody that, it is what it is. But whoever said it, I want you to just consider that. Like, consider, is this actually something that happened in the church that you protect? You protect these guys that do this, man. Like, and that's been the problem. That's to this day, man. I have this thing with the church, man, and it's because of stuff like this, man. Not just with me. I've seen other things happen, and just being a part of the church where I've seen things happen, and the church takes this stance of, let me protect him because he's the voice. Let me protect them because they're the leader. Let me, regardless of what they do. We see it online all the time. let me protect them. And there's never any real accountability, man. And spiritual people know what I'm about to say. Like the pendulum is swinging, man. The pendulum is swinging. You don't get to handle people in any kind of way, and not expect for that to ripple back to you. I don't care how long. If you don't fix that intentionally, it's coming back, man. The pendulum is going to swing, man. And I think all of what's happening, not just with this scenario, there's other stuff I could get into with him personally that I recently found out. But life does not allow that kind of stuff to happen, man. And you don't have any type of recoil to come back on you, man. That's just how it goes.
Well,
and this way is in your interest.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying this way is in his interest.
Well, brother, listen. I support you, and like I told you earlier, I don't do a lot of talking. I just show up. You know what I mean? And you will be connected with my attorney tomorrow, if you're available, or Monday, no later than Monday. And I already spoke to him, and he already know what it is. So you good to go. All he got to do is have a conversation with you, and you guys have your attorney-client privilege. All I'm doing is putting the money up. And as far as therapy, if you need that, all you got to do is holler at me. I have someone that you could talk to. And I just want to be able to represent the church in a different way. That's it. There are a lot of people that's going to, come at you because they just don't understand. It is what it is. You got to speak your truth, and, these allegations are terrible. And I think that, if we look at this world, and if you have any children out here, for your child to be touched by somebody, right, you're going to feel some type of way. So with these allegations, we need answers. We need answers. I know I need answers. And for this Larry Reid to go on his platform and say that the person who he allegedly gave me the recordings of this young man, he said, well, I sued him and all of this stuff was thrown out because it was all false. Lo and behold, now I get in contact with the actual young man with these allegations. So we're not talking about no old tape. We're talking about right now. And the case is still open. So we need answers, and that's just what it is. So, brother, I appreciate you trusting me to bring you on this platform. And, people thought that I set up the robbery of my church. And now that they caught two of the guys, now people are quiet and they got egg in their face and they apologizing. And pretty much the same thing when I played the recordings of you. People didn't believe it, and they believed Larry Reid saying that all that stuff was thrown out and blah, 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 blah. So now you're on right now. So what are they going to say now? At the end of the day, this is for the church, and we need to do something about it. So, brother, I appreciate you. I'll call you back after I get off the live, but the lawyer is already done. And I don't know if you want therapy. I got that as well. And I just want to be your brother and friend. And, just to help you out, man, if any way I can.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Young man does have the right to speak. Larry Reid has never sued him or gagged him as far as I'm concerned. So he gets to talk about the situation as much as he wants. He's talked about it on other platforms with other creators. And again, I'm not one to question anyone's story. So if this young man is stating that this happened to him, who am I to tell him that it didn't? And if Larry Reid is saying that this man is lying, who am I to tell Larry Reid that he's lying? Both of them are entitled to their stories. The accused and the victim, they are both entitled to their stories, but I'm not going to damage a victim or destroy their reputation when it comes to their story or their credibility based off of how I feel about somebody else. Because I have no problem with Larry Reid. I think Larry Reid's a cool guy, but if these people are saying this, I feel like he should do something about it. And I do think that he should speak on it. I don't think he probably wants to, but at the same time, I won't want somebody talking about me this way, especially if these things aren't true. I will take legal action to the fullest extent. I feel that if some people don't take legal action, especially by suing him, then there may be some admitted guilt. Because, you know, why not? If you're willing to sue other people, sue him too, if he's not telling the truth. And since he hasn't been sued, I don't know. So again, I'm just going to leave the story where it is. I hope he seeks help. It sounds like he's doing a lot better with the situation that he's speaking of mentally. So shout out to him for that. And I don't like Bishop Whitehead, but I do like the fact that he at least brought up therapy, because he's opening a lot of old wounds. And because this story isn't a new story, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't still affect this young man like it just happened. Again, I wasn't there. So I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, bye.